I'd like to start out, before I get to apps right off the bat, I'd like to start out just with a quick little introduction on moving towards a smartphone for those of you that don't have a smartphone yet, or you're faced with a smartphone decision right now. I just want to give you a few tips. I think one of the most important decisions you're going to make first is the service provider. No matter how cool the smartphone is, if you don't like the service, or the service is poor, of poor quality in your home or at your office, you're just not going to like the phone. So the first thing you're faced with, I think, is to head out and take a look at your service providers and ask around who's the best. And most of you know already who it is. I've showed the players on the screen right now. You see Sprint, Verizon, and AT&T. I'm a Verizon fan, but I do travel nationally, internationally, and Verizon seems to be the most compatible with something like that. But otherwise, I think it is a personal decision because of what's in the service available in your home or in your office. The second, I think, less significant choice is your operating system. Now, each one of your smartphone operating systems, the major players today are the Droid operating system and the iOS, or the Apple operating system. I guess one that seems to be on the way out is the BlackBerry operating system, to join with the old Palm. But operating systems similar to computers' operating system. On a typical PC, you have the Windows operating system, and on almost every Mac, you have the iOS or Apple operating system. So that can come into play. I used to say that you might want to lean towards the iPhone operating system in real estate because of the applications available, most of them for real estate being available just in the iPhone operating system. So that's almost insignificant today. Almost every app that you'd want to use is, if it doesn't have a version for your operating system, there's a chance there's a duplicate type of software app available to you for your operating system. But for the most part, most of these apps are available for both operating systems, and I'll try to point that out as we move along. So picking a phone, one resource for picking out a phone, I think one of my favorites has got to be CNET. CNET.com. What you see on the screen right now, they also is known as Shopper.com, but the parent company, CNET. CNET's a great resource for you to do some research for smartphones, to pick a smartphone, or even, heck, if you're looking for a different digital camera or something like that, whether it's software or hardware, CNET's a great resource to read both editorial and professional reviews, or reviews from human beings or people like us saying we like it, we don't like it, we like it with this software, but we don't like it with that software. So if you're looking for resources along those lines, CNET's one of the first places I would go to read the reviews on the different phones available to me from the different service providers. Consumer Reports is another great resource, my second resource, but I'll just FYI, it's going to cost you $20 a year to join consumerreports.org. One of the benefits of that $20, though, is they don't take any advertising. So you won't see consumerreports.org influenced by their advertisers as you might see in other resources out there. So, but strongly like consumerreports.org. Now, just to summarize what those two resources are saying are the best operating systems or phones, it comes down to iPhone 5 and the Samsung Galaxy 3S. So it's one of those two phones. Why might you pick one over the other? Well, it's really a personal decision today. There's one major benefit to the Galaxy S3 with the Droid operating system is the enormous screen size. If you walk into one of your cell phone providers and put one of these in your hands and put an iPhone 5 in your hand next to it, you're going to see a significant size difference. And the Galaxy S2 or S3 has got about a 25% larger screen. Now, that's all fine and dandy when you're surfing or you're trying to look up fonts on a small email message. But when you're carrying it in your front pocket, that might be a little less desirable to have that screen size. But as far as these two players and speed and functionality, they're pretty neck and neck. Both have fast internet, or what we call Generation 4, 4G internet speeds. So as long as you got 4G coverage from your service provider, your cell phone service provider, you're going to go really fast, up to like 7 megabits per second. Now let me put 7 megabits per second in perspective for you. Back in the old days, we used to have 56K on our dial-up, or even older than that, 300 bit modem speed. Well, 56K has jumped to where third generation internet's about 1,000K, and fourth generation internet goes up to about 7,000K, and I'm sorry, megabits. And now in your house, a really fast internet connection would be like 10,000 megabits or 25,000 megabits, and now you're getting up close to your home internet speeds on these phones. Now we have a question that popped up. What's the difference between LTE and 4G? You know, technically I don't know specifically what the differences are, other than I know that LTE is a version of 4G that's supposed to be a little bit faster, as claimed by the service provider, but I see no significant differences in their reviews when they're talking about those internet speeds. Thank you for that question. 4G versus LTE. So, iPhone 5, Galaxy S3 are the two major players, and I don't think you'd go wrong with either one of those. I think you'll go a little bit better in battery life on the iPhone 5, and probably the most simplistic for adapting or ease of use and learning curve would be the iPhone 5. But the techies seem to sure like the Droid operating system that's found in the Galaxy S3. I tried to hop into the Motorola Razr for 30 days and jumped back out again, but I have to give fair shake to the Droid. I liked it as far as speed and the ability to be technical on it, but as the battery life and the adaptability seemed to be a little tough for me. But I'm a long-time iPhone user. I went from a Palm to a Samsung with the Palm operating system to the iPhones, and never had the Droids in the past. So, you know, to be fair, they could be an advantage. Now, just around the corner, what's up? Well, the new Samsung Galaxy S4. So we'll see that pop up in the next maybe weeks, if it hasn't been released in a few parts of the country already. But you know, you can always wait for what's updated next month, but you'll be waiting because there's always something new on the horizon. All right, let's head to apps. Probably one of my most used apps, and maybe this isn't real estate specific, but still a great resource that I use for purchasing hardware and software within my real estate business, is Red Laser. Red Laser started out as a common application for reading QR codes, but since QR codes didn't seem to take off quite as effectively, I guess, is something we've had for years, and that's the barcodes. Red Laser is a QR code reader and a barcode font reader. So you can take this thing into a place like Costco and scan a product. I just bought an amplifier not too long ago from a Yamaha amp, and I was wondering, this was something new on the shelf, and I hadn't yet done the research on it. And so right there at Costco, I scanned the barcode off the box from Yamaha, and it told me what prices were at different places, not only physically locations like around me, but also what were the prices of ordering that stuff online. And in some products give me the reviews available too. So I could tell whether it was a great deal or not. So in this case, I bought a $499 amplifier that was available online in most places for $799. I knew right there on the spot whether it was a good deal. And boy, have I used that a lot. And I've never done this before, but I know lots of people that do, and you can scan a bottle of wine, and it will tell you where that wine is available, how much it costs, a little bit about the wine, some details. So if you're at a restaurant and you like the bottle of wine, it might be a good way to keep track of that bottle and get the name and all the details off of it. So take a look out there for Red Laser, available both for the Droid and iPhone operating system. One of my most favorite applications. Another one, many of us are using Amazon.
Your entry is not valid.
Many of us are using Amazon to shop for products, whether Amazon.com or the app. But now that Best Buy, the local store, is matching prices online, when you go into Best Buy, you need to have this Amazon app installed and ready to go. Because you can walk into Best Buy and look at a digital camera, and if they're selling it for $500, but you can buy it at Amazon from one of the vendors up at Amazon for $400, Best Buy now will match that pricing. So you know the value of the online pricing from Amazon. That's been fantastic. But even better yet, now that your local store, where you can touch and feel that hardware, you can match that pricing. Not to mention the second most valuable part of Amazon, and that's the user reviews. People like you and I having the purchase experience and saying whether we like it or not. So check out Amazon. Great little app there. That brings me to OneNote. OneNote is the equivalent, I guess I should mention Evernote right with OneNote. OneNote and Evernote are very similar applications. Evernote was first to the marketplace. OneNote, kind of Microsoft, of course, snatching or copying that software. And this app, OneNote and Evernote, you can put on your smartphone. And in its most simplest form, how about creating maybe a grocery list or something like that? I'm a little scared of what Linda might have put in my grocery list, but let's take a look at OneNote here. So I'm opening up OneNote, which is running in the background. You can see the different notebooks that I keep. Here's a notebook for home. Now, home is a folder that let's see if I can find the shopping folder. Here we go. Costco. So OneNote is an application that can be installed on my smartphone, and it can be installed on my computer. Here you're seeing it on the computer. Now, if I grab and pick up my phone and go to my shopping list in OneNote and head to home, which I'm doing right now live on the phone, and let's say I add milk to my phone and cruise out of that. And now my phone, I just exited out of the program, so now my phone in a second will update the cloud, and the cloud in another second should update my computer. And usually it's fairly instantaneous, but of course while we're doing a presentation, it's going to choose not to be. So keeping a grocery list or keeping the Costco list in sync with my smartphone. Well, there's milk that popped right up. So keeping the grocery list and the Costco list in sync with my smartphone, as well as my computer and my wife's computer and smartphone, just makes for a really handy note-taking capability. Now that's just one approach. As you saw when I dropped this list down, that's my home notebook. I have a personal notebook, a CH or Castle Hills Real Estate notebook, a property management notebook, a home notebook, a Mark Porter Live notebook. And these notebooks are different aspects of maybe those businesses, and within those notebooks I have subdivisions of those notebooks so I can keep notes in such a way that those notes are synced with my phone or my computer. Now there you see one called Mark Porter Live. Now Mark Porter Live is synced with, here you see synced Mark Porter Live with sub-notebooks, one called Todd, Business Planning, Prospecting, To-Dos, Post-Course, Carol Consulting Courses. Now, Carol runs Mark Porter Live, so she has a complete sync to this notebook. So when I make a change to this notebook, Carol sees those changes. But obviously, these other notebooks, like the personal one, nobody else sees. But the Castle Hills one, that's synced to a few agents. The property management synced to a few agents. The home notebook synced to Linda and I, my wife, and Mark Porter Live synced to Carol. So that gives us ability to communicate or keep notes and tasks with each other. I strongly recommend you get on either Evernote or OneNote sometime for the next 30 days, and you'll never go back. Check out OneNote. Why might you pick one over the other? Well, OneNote's a part of Microsoft Office, and I lean a little bit towards OneNote because I like the typical Windows conventions that I've been grown used to in Microsoft Word. Those are available to me in OneNote. You can attach photos to a note, you can attach audio files to a note, but that's true of both Evernote and OneNote. So give one of those a try. Next is Yelp. Yelp is an awesome resource that you're seeing most of us choose our restaurants, especially when we're in foreign locations or just outside of our normal marketplace. But you're also seeing a Generation Y use Yelp to pick their chiropractor, their doctor, their dentist, and their realtor. But it's surprising on how very few realtors are showing up in Yelp in the Dallas marketplace. Not true of Atlanta and some of the other larger cities out there, but Dallas, we are underutilizing this tool. What a great tool, too. Now you can see in the upper right-hand corner of Yelp, I have my home address in there, and then I typed restaurants, and below you can see Texas Roadhouse and La Hacienda Ranch. So not only can I just find specific restaurants, but I can go for specific cuisine, such as Mexican, Vietnamese, Asian fusion, as you see in the right-hand column. Well, same thing goes for real estate agents. So you would use the app maybe on your phone to find that restaurant, that chiropractor, that doctor that has ratings and how well they rate and review by human beings like you and I. But also, you're going to want to go sign up for a Yelp presence. You want to log into Yelp and create your own presence as a realtor. And then you're going to have that app available to you on your iPhone. And then you might even take that to the next level by putting that in your signature to give your buyers and sellers an opportunity to give you feedback or give you reviews. So if I open up a new email message here, you can see an icon from Yelp that giving my buyers and sellers the opportunity to give me feedback. Well, that Yelp presence is my Mark Porter Live or teaching presence. This Yelp presence is my Mr. Realtor presence. So I have multiple signatures, as you could discover in the Outlook e-marketing strategies class that I'm sure we have coming up somewhere in the Metroplex, right, Annette?
Yep.
All right. So check out Yelp. Make yourself a presence. And just a tip, at the end of this screen, at the bottom of the screen after you've logged into Yelp, there's a business link. And when you select that business link, you'll see how to add your own business into Yelp. Along the restaurant line, too, if you're out and about showing clients, you're not sure what might be a palatable restaurant in that neighborhood that maybe you don't frequent. You go to Open Table, and Open Table allows you to make reservations remotely. So you can make reservations at a restaurant right while you're on the phone. It's local sensitive, so meaning if you're over here, it can tell that you're over here and you're near these restaurants. They also link to Yelp. So if you're on a Yelp profile of one of the restaurants that you determined to be positive, you could bounce right on over to Open Table and say, I want reservations for 7 for 2 people, or any variation thereof. Open Table, another great one. You know, with many of us working with, hearing about Groupon, another great resource I happened to be standing in a Greek restaurant behind the couple in front of me ordering just the other day, and I heard her say Groupon, and her husband said, "How much is the Groupon for?" She said, "Well, it's for $20 and it cost me 10." So I'm in the line behind her. I immediately go to my Groupon app and bought $20 for the cost of $10 too. And so by the time I made it up to the cashier, I used my Groupon and got my lunch for my buyers and I for half price. Great deal. Another great resource, now that we're more of an international servicer these days, Google Mobile is just amazing. Not only the website for the Google Translator website, but the application for your smartphone is just phenomenal. So we're sitting in Italy, driving in the taxi outside the airport out of Naples, and I am talking to this taxi driver with Linda and my mother-in-law sitting in the back seat, holding a conversation through this app. So I'm asking him about restaurants in Priano and Amalfi, and he's responding. I'm talking into this app on my smartphone, and it is converting verbally what I'm saying to Italian. I didn't have to click Italian. I didn't have to click Spanish, French, anything. It recognizes what that guy's speaking in and converts it back. It also, as it talks, in case you're in a noisy place, it turns the screen into like a flash card in a sense. So whatever you're saying, it also flashes on the screen. It'll floor you. It's just amazing. Make sure you have this handy for that next buyer or seller that walks into the front office and maybe has some difficulty with our language or your language. Get Google Mobile. Griffin is popular for a lot of hardware accessories for your smartphone, but they also have the best voice recorder. Now, many of you have a voice recorder application built into your phone, whether you have a Droid or an iPhone. Now, if you're not super crazy about using a voice recorder, give it a second thought. When you're driving down the road and you're trying to make a note, maybe in your OneNote or something like that, boy, is it just easier to record your voice talking than anything. Whether it's mileage or you're trying to remind yourself of a concept that you just thought of. Using your voice recorder is just a safe, easy way, especially when you're driving. I also find my voice recorder handy for mileage and when I'm in a listing presentation, walking the property. Like if whether I'm seeing stain over the fireplace, a water leak, or just making notes on room measurements, a voice recorder is way easier than a pencil or a pen or a piece of paper in those situations. It leaves your hands free. So check out, once you become an aficionado of a voice recorder where you're using it a lot, you'll appreciate spending the $2 on iTalk from Griffin. Check out iTalk from Griffin for $2. This one is just for iPhone users. There is an equivalent for Google apps, and I can't think of what the name is. I'm sorry, for Droid apps, but I can't think of what the name is right now. But if you search for conversion, it's surprisingly how much I use this app. Whether it's in the kitchen and you're converting tablespoons to cups, or you're, somebody's talking the metric system to you, or liters, and you're talking gallons, miles, you name it, feet. You can convert just about anything, whether it's just measurements or weights, whether we're talking imperial gallons or American, U.S. gallons. Just amazing, especially with the international customer and just everyday use at home. Check out Conversion app. Now, it's a freebie. These guys, Mint, they have hit the marketplace several years ago, and they hit it so fast and so hard. Quicken accused them of stealing Quicken secrets. They took them to court, but they didn't win. So when when Mint won over that court case, of course, Quicken then quickly snatched them up and purchased Mint. Mint is the new Quicken, in a sense. It is a website and an app that you'd probably want to set it up within your computer because it's just easier to type that way. But you can log into all your different accounts and different bank accounts, credit card, mortgage accounts. And then now you'll have one place to go, and it'll give you in one screenshot all these different views and balances of all the different websites, whether that's your credit card, mortgage, or bank. Mint. Check it out. Great way to do budgeting and track your expenses. And then, of course, that leads us into Quicken. Quicken finally has their own app. They've struggled with this, and third parties have tried to put out Quicken apps to sync to Quicken. Well, now Quicken 2013 includes the free application for your iPhone and Android. So check out Quicken 2013 and carry Quicken with you so you can keep track of your expenses as you go along. Quicken is just a real awesome way to do your taxes 5 minutes a day instead of a big old event at the end of the year or on April 15th. Strongly recommend you guys look at Quicken. I know you're a CPA and accountant says use QuickBooks. That's because QuickBooks it's easier for your CPA and accountant for you to use QuickBooks than it is for them. But if you don't mind paying a little bit of extra, you can convince your CPA probably to allow you to use Quicken. I think Quicken is more practical and useful and intuitive for the average Joe like you and I. So try to convince your CPA to allow you to use Quicken. Works just like a checkbook register. You can do your taxes 5 minutes a day instead of one big event at the end of the year. Now we go to Lucy. Sometimes we have difficulty with tech support or 800 numbers. Heck, try to call. I probably shouldn't mention, but try to call one of our government agencies today, and if you sit on hold. Well, if you have the Lucy app, you can go into that application and it has a phone dialer in it. While you're in the application, you use that phone dialer. It'll enable you to go through the voice prompts at your destination phone call, and you can hit the Lucy hold. Lucy will then hang up the phone with you and sit on hold for you. The minute a human being picks up that call, your phone will ring. And Lucy will encourage them to hold for a moment while you pick up the phone. Apparently we might have a little bit of lag in the screen time, but we're checking it out, trying to get to the bottom of that. The next one that's on the screen now, I hope you see, is Hootsuite. Now, Hootsuite, if you're a social network user, whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or maybe one of the other biggies out there, but you know the common ones being Facebook, Twitter, and LinkedIn, Hootsuite is one central location or one central app that you can go to view the postings of all the different social network websites you hang out on. So you can have one place to read the posts, one place to post the posts. Hootsuite. Great little resource. Not only can you watch different streams like what you see on the screen, but also you can stagger your posts. Meaning, I could say, I want this to post tomorrow afternoon because we found that Tuesday afternoons are more effective than Monday afternoons. So we can maybe put out a few posts today for the future. Great tool to keep track of all your different listening posts and social networks out there. Hootsuite, great app. Now, most of you, if not all of you, are in the local NETRIS or North Texas Real Estate Information Systems MLS. If you are not using Centralized Showing Systems app, boy, you're just making it too hard on yourself. You pull up to to a showing and you want to quick cancel that or reschedule that showing, you can do that right there from within the CSS app on your phone. Make sure you get the app for centralized showing systems. What a convenience that has shown us. Another one of my very favorites called Slide Dial. Whether you run into situations where maybe you have a talkative seller, or you need to just get through your phone calls a lot quicker than normal.
I got it.
Oh, whether you just need to get through a lot of conversations quickly and you just can't afford to get caught up on the call, Slide Dial gives you the ability to dial the phone from within the Slide Dial application, and you'll get voicemail every time. It only works with cell phones with voicemail enabled, but if you're calling a cell phone with voicemail enabled, it will get you to voicemail each and every time. Now, just the other day, Linda asked if I would go shopping with her, and I said, so I immediately called her back with Slide Dial saying, yes, of course, honey, just let me know where you want to meet, and I'll go shopping. And I used Slide Dial, and so she kept calling me back saying, well, where are you? And Slide Dial enables you to make that call and get voicemail each and every time. Just a little hint there, guys. Card Munch. Great little app to take a picture of a business card and drop that business card contact information right into your contacts. Card Munch. Now that LinkedIn has purchased Card Munch, you have the ability to, some of these scanning programs like Card Munch, where literally you're taking a picture of the business card. Some of these scanning programs have had difficulty navigating some of the data of somebody's email address or phone number and getting it all 100% right. Card Munch has been the most popular, most effective player at this, but since LinkedIn purchased them, now that card will be analyzed by LinkedIn, and if that person has a LinkedIn account, you could acquire even more significant data than might be contained on the business card. Check out Card Munch to scan those business cards. And then, of course, we can't deny the existence of Zillow, Realtor.com, and Trulia apps out there. All great apps that today they seem to be really good at being local sensitive, meaning if I step outside this listing that we're showing, it can sense where I am and tell me that there's a listing on the other side of the block. If I'm driving down the street and the buyer points at a house sign and I'm just not sure why that thing didn't make it to the showing list, I can certainly just open up Zillow, Realtor.com, or Trulia, and it'll show up as a little triangle on a map, and bam, I can get right to the details for that listing and let that buyer know maybe it was out of their price range or it just didn't fit their criteria in some way. These all three of them can be effective tools to help us out. But one of my favorites is got to be Smarter Agent. Now, Smarter Agent, like the other three, will have that capability where it can identify where you are, and you can do the searches for different properties within 1 mile, within 6 miles, within different criteria. But Smarter Agent, the freebie, that's all fine and dandy, but if you upgrade and pay a little bit for Smarter Agent, they will give you a customized, branded application. So now you would take that customized branded application and you'd be able to hand that over to one of your buyers or sellers, and they would have that tool, but for every listing, every time they open it up, it would appear that you maybe were the developer of that software program, of that application. So then it's kind of a way to create a little bit of loyalty there. So when they open up that listing, it would have your contact information on each and every listing to the extent that's allowed by MLS. So check out Smarter Agent for branding your personal applications for buyers and sellers. And of course, we cannot leave out MetroTex. What a great way to get to MLS. Whether we're just trying to pick up a phone number to call down at the resources down at at MetroTex, or we're just trying to get to the MLS application from within our smartphone. MetroTex has the application has a link to doing the property search, both existing listings and solds from within the app. So check out MetroTex. Realtor.com, you can't deny that many of your buyers already have the app installed. Great resource. Tell your sellers about it. Tell your buyers about it to get the app, and you should have it handy too. Once in a while, you might not see a listing that's out there on the Trulia and Zillow sites, but you will see it at Realtor.com. For you old HP calculator users, whether it's the old 12C or the newer 10B2, if you go to the CCIM classes or the CRS financial classes with regards to investing in residential real estate, this is the calculator that they require for that class now. That's the Hewlett-Packard 10B2, replacing the old HP 12C. Now, if you're a fan of that calculator, this is what you want to do, is instead of going over to Walmart and picking up that 10B2 for $35 or $40, why don't you download the app for $2? You get the app. Now, there's a lot of similar sounding applications when you're doing a search in Google. So I want you to get the app from from CNET or downloads.com. They're both the same website. It's just if you go to cnet.com, you got to click on the downloads link. If you type in downloads.com, it'll take you to the downloads link. So go to downloads and find the 10B2 Calc financial calculator, and for a couple bucks you can have that. The full functioning calculator, and actually works faster than the regular calculator, and you'll have all the benefits to a traditional real estate specific calculator for like future values, present values, rates of returns. And then you can't deny Chicago Title's app in that same regard. If you're just looking for the new wave, insulate you from knowing how to use the old tables like the 12C and 10B2 would require, you could go to Chicago Title for their application, and that's another great resource. Open Home Pro. Do open houses? How about a sign-in sheet that will automatically populate your contacts list and give you the ability to mass text the attendees of your open house? You need to check out Open Home Pro. Great little app there. Another resource, Suburb Scout. Not an application that I'd normally have on my phone, but an application I would tell my buyers about as we're looking at properties. And there's a reason behind that. This will tell them about some of the negative connotations that might be assigned to a local marketplace or a subdivision or a little bit of an area. And you don't really want to be the resource of that negative information, but you want to have that information available to your buyers. So ask your buyers to download and install Suburb Scout, and make sure they do a quick search on any houses they're indicating they're wanting to purchase. And of course, keep an eye on Mark Porter Live. We do repost a lot of different applications as they come along. Here you see a blog entry about an app called Real Alert, and an app that I really recommend that you get. And you can pre-program certain phone numbers. So if you're heading out to a showing, you can make mention in this Real Alert program, this application, that you're going to see this property with so-and-so, you're meeting at this location, and then if you ever feel uncomfortable within that showing time period, this will alert other people that you've pre-programmed. So you can have it call your broker, your spouse, you can have it call the police. It's just a great safety app made for us as realtors and the situations that we do get into. Then I want to show you another approach too, that I think probably one of the most effective tools, and I don't know if this is it would necessarily be called an app, but I guess it's an improvement on how you use your smartphone. And that's to use an exchange-based program. Now, let me tell you how you're typically using your email now. It's pop-based, meaning you open up your phone, you check your email, and let's say 10 messages are up there, and they download 10 messages. Now you have 10 new emails on your email application in your phone. Maybe the first 3 are junk mails, and let's say you delete those first 3 junk mails, and the second 2 are something you respond to, and the rest you just kind of leaving for later when you get home. So you've taken and downloaded 10 messages, you deleted 3, you responded to 2, and you left the rest for when you get home. Now when you get home, if you still have 10 messages in your Outlook, you have pop mail. And why is that annoying? Because then you got to re-delete those 3 junk mails. You don't have the 2 sent items from the 2 responses you've already made. There's a disconnect there, meaning Pop account is really simple, cheap, old-fashioned email. There's not really a synchronization relationship between your email client, fill in the blank there, your home computer, your smartphone, your office computer. There's not a sync relationship between those appliances and your email server. So the new way to have mail is in an exchange server. Now this was popular in corporate America for many years, and the reason being is there's a sync relationship. So if you delete 3 junk emails on your phone, those 3 junk emails get deleted on the server, and those 3 junk emails get deleted on your PCs and your smartphones and tablets. So basically all those different places stay in sync with the cloud. For those of you that were on the last webinar where we talked about cloud computing, this is cloud computing for your email. So if your email isn't in an exchange server environment, you may want to give some serious consideration to upgrading from a freebie pop account to an exchange server account. So where do you do that? Well, you go to Office 365, or just go to office.com, the Microsoft website. So go to office.com and click on Exchange Server, and for about $48 a year, you can upgrade from your pop account to a real full-blown Exchange Server account. Then all your contacts, your calendar items, your tasks, and your emails will be identical everywhere. So if you delete a message here, it deletes it everywhere. If you edit a contact record on one place, it'll be edited in all the other places. If you're not near one of your computers or your smartphone, you can hop on another person's computer in the Bahamas at the computer that's in the lobby, log into webmail, and see all your contacts, tasks, to-dos, and it'll be in sync there. That's called webmail. So upgrade to an exchange account, and one of the most popular exchange account providers, of course, is Microsoft themselves. And I found that it's the cheapest provider as well as the most reliable provider. $48, you can get an exchange account. Now let me tag on to that. Now that you're carrying around all that information, that's going to use the app that's built into your phone. So whether you have a Droid or operating system, your Droid or operating system has a mail container. It has a contacts container. It has a task container. Exchange is going to use the containers that are in your operating system now. So it's not like you install an application. You just hook up to Exchange, and then all those containers populate with your Exchange data. So take a look at Exchange. The other aspect that I'm trying to explain here is I'm going to open up here Office so you can get a feel for this. So when you're in Office, I'm sorry, I didn't go to Office, did I? I guess that's the new screen today. Just like Facebook, Office is updating a lot lately. I guess, they just released Microsoft Office 2013. What I'd like to see you do is, down here at the bottom at Office 365 is Small Business Premium. Your next version of Microsoft Office is going to be a little more of a hybrid than prior versions of Microsoft Office. Let me blow that up so you can see it a little better. I see a net straining. So when you buy Microsoft Office now, you can buy it the traditional way. You can lay out your $250 to $400 depending on what version. You can buy a product that's installable on your computer, or you can buy it as a user, kind of a cloud-based Microsoft Office, where you can install it on up to 5 different devices: a tablet, a smartphone, a couple of PCs, a couple of Macs, and it is supposed to be operating system insensitive, meaning I can get Office for the Mac or I can get Office for the PC. Doesn't matter, it's the same Office. Buying it this way, buying it for $12.50 a month or $15 a month, depending on which one you like, it means that you're going to get both the ability to have it installed on your computer, so you still have Microsoft Office when you're disconnected from the internet, or it'll also give you the ability to have it as a user on any computer. So you can just log into Office on any computer, and your login will give you full access to a cloud-based Office applications, and that includes your smartphone. So you can edit Word documents, Excel spreadsheets in your smartphone, which prior to this, now we've had to use third-party applications to edit Excel spreadsheets and Word documents and PowerPoint presentations on our smartphones. So I really like to see you upgrade to Office 2013. And this $15 deal here, it includes Exchange. So you'll eliminate that other fee or that separate Exchange product I talked about, and it'll be included in your Microsoft Office. And that means 25 gigs of email space up in the cloud that can stay in sync with your smartphone and your PCs on any computer you use, whether it's web-based or resident on the drive. For example, when I hop on an airplane and I'm disconnected from the internet, I still have all of my capability that I had while I was connected to the internet. Meaning I can read old emails, I can reply to emails, although they'll stay in the outbox, they won't go out. I can edit contact information, complete tasks, edit Word documents and spreadsheets. Then when I hop off the airplane and get to internet connection, it senses the internet connection, and all those changes will take place in sync with the cloud again. So my phone then becomes completely updated right away. Wow. I mean, that, I don't know if you caught that, but that is really, really cool. The new way to buy Microsoft Office is pay by the month or pay by the year, but buy this full subscription for $15-20 depending on the version you get, and get Exchange included. Look at that, $150 for small business premium, which includes, you know, your old publisher, LinkedIn, Link, and even InfoPath as well as OneNote, all, and Exchange, a 25 gig user file right there from Microsoft Office. Well, not too many questions popped up, so I'm done just a few minutes early, so let's hear them. Do you have any questions at this point? No, awesome. That must have been pretty good. If you sounds like you're confident. Here's one other app I need to tell you about. I heard about this one earlier today. Pro HDR. So I installed this app. This is a feature. This Pro HDR is usually a feature reserved for real high-end digital cameras like your Nikon D50 or 90 or something like that, where your camera will literally take a picture, 3 pictures at once. It'll take a picture of assuming the room is dark, and it'll take a picture of everything light and tone it down, and assuming the room is really light, and take a picture of everything dark by lightening it up, and then take a median picture. Pro HDR is for your smartphone. I think it cost me $10, and I install it, and it takes. I have to manually hit the button 3 times, but it'll take 3 pictures of the room. Now, you know as well as I, when you're taking a picture from your smartphone, it doesn't handle light really well. Like if there's a sun burning through the window, it's going to turn that window white. And if you point at the window so you can see out the window to make the window nice, you know you end up with dark walls. So How do you get something that happy medium in between? Pro HDR. HDR will allow you to take 3 shots, one for light, one for dark, one for medium, and it'll merge those 3 shots into one good-looking photo. Check out Pro HDR.